This one is called The Growl. One late afternoon, a few days before I began chemotherapy, I came home from a day at work and school. In my bedroom, alit in waning sunlight, I hurriedly got out of my office get-up. My roommates weren't home. I loved having the flat to myself so I could blast a boogie-licious tune, or some rock and roll that was born to be loud. Sometimes I would roar to the song, bang my head at the very least, even bust out some air guitar flails. I flipped through my spinning CD tower. Metallica's ferocious cover of Diamond Head's Am I Evil was what I felt pulsing in my veins. I needed some induced catharsis. An unexpected thing happened, though, while I stood there listening to the militaristic intro blare through the flat. Like a howling wolf, I craned my head back and roared in the hopes of letting out some of the frustration I had been feeling from life with lymphoma, especially after I had to subject myself to a second bone marrow biopsy a few days before. The joyous, playful roar that usually came out of me whenever I would shout with a rock song was more of an angry, guttural growl. It rattled from my chest, up my throat, filling the room. It felt like something with its own life, something I couldn't quite control. My roar didn't pack the ear-shattering punch needed to crack the bulbs from a bedroom chandelier, but perhaps enough to shake their filaments. It startled me and concerned me. Once I finished roaring, I nervously tittered to myself. And that's when I got a sense that I was like a human walking volcano. Beneath my surface, beneath my stoic, I'm being strong veneer, the tension was building. Bubbling, rumbling, escalating. It was all those hospital visits, medical examinations, excruciating lines I had to wait in, all that time lost in those drab, life-sucking waiting rooms that felt like planes of limbo, all those medical terms and cancer jargon I had to become familiar with, and still couldn't fucking believe I had to. All those big decisions I had to make. Should I get a catheter port inserted into my arm for the duration of treatment? Should I have my sperm frozen? And all the emails I had to respond to from my cousins and family in Peru, telling me that they were sorry, that I just had to put my faith in God, that this nightmare would soon pass, and all the times I had to tell them that it's going to be okay, as if I really knew. And this next one is just a little short excerpt. So the only background I need to tell you is that this is from a short chapter where I describe my first infusion. And I have to say like a little story to set this up and say that this is, it's special for me to be here with you guys because I got my treatment at 4C, which is on the 4th floor of Stanford General Hospital. And so there were times literally when I was getting my infusions and like there's like this length-wide window and you can see the 101 freeway and all the cars look like micro machines. And sometimes you can even see people at the top of like Bernal Heights hillside and there's just like little ants. And it was a trip because I would be getting my infusions and I would like look out this window and be like, this is the world I still want to be a part of. And so now I'm reading here 3 years later, and so it's special for me. So thank you. It's very short. This is from the chapter called Round 1 at 4C. The night before my first infusion, I stayed up past 2 a.m. I sat in front of my computer wired with nervous pace-the-room energy, zipping from webpage to webpage, watching a slew of videos on YouTube, including replay after replay of Buster Douglas's famous 10th round knockout of Mike Tyson in Tokyo, Japan. After I got diagnosed, I became obsessed with the 1990 fight, one of the biggest upsets in sports history. And coming into that fight, Douglas was a 42-1 underdog to Iron Mike, who was seemingly invincible with a 37-0 record that included 33 knockouts. By beating Tyson, Douglas rose to the stature of a modern-day giant slayer. In preparing to fight for my life, I watched that knockout countless times. Buster's repeated left jabs to Tyson's face in the middle of the ring, luring him closer before he wound his right hand back and delivered a vicious uppercut that snapped Tyson's head back, sent his eyes rolling back in their sockets before Douglas put him down with a quick left-right left combination, the crowd gasping, witness to the unfathomable, the ringside announcers shouting, "Look at this! He's knocked Mike Tyson down! For the first time in his career, Mike Tyson hits the canvas! And although I had become so familiar with the knockout, knew exactly what would happen, I still felt an electric jolt course through me that Thursday night, my eyes welling with tears when I watched Tyson crawl on his knees beside the ropes, his mouth agape as he reached for his mouthpiece before staggering to his feet at the count of 9, the referee clutching him to his chest while he waved the fight off, the bell ringing, crowd roaring, the ringside commentator screaming, "Unbelievable! Unbelievable! Unbelievable!" My life had become incredibly simple at that moment. There was nothing, absolutely nothing, I wanted more than to be like Buster Douglas on that night in Tokyo, Japan, his arms raised victorious, exhausted, overwhelmed at what he had accomplished. Thank you.